subscribe and click the notification bell. Welcome to Project Mafulungan para Matuto. In this video, I will discuss more about probability. When we say probability, it is the likelihood or chance of an event to happen. Ibig sabihin, it is the proportion of times that the event of an experiment is expected to occur. Remember, the probability of an event to happen is between 0 and 1. Ibig sabihin, the chance of an event to happen ay nasa pagitan ng 0 and 1. It is certain that the event will happen if the probability is 1. And the event is impossible to happen if the probability is 0. So, ibig sabihin, kapag 0 ang probability, it is very impossible to happen. Let us discuss the three important terms when it comes to probability. These are the possible outcomes, the sample space, and the event. So, when we say possible outcomes, these are the results of an experiment. So, ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong experiment, ang tawag sa lahat ng result na yon ay possible outcomes. Pag sinabi naman natin sample space, it is the set of all possible outcomes of an experiment. O ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong experiment, out of the possible outcomes, ang tawag doon ay sample space. And the event, it is the set of all favorable outcomes to the given condition. The event is a subset of a sample space. Let us determine the formula for the probability of an event. So ito yung formula na ginagamit natin when we are finding the probability of an event. So the probability of an event is equal to N of E all over N of S. So ano nga ba yung N of E? Ano nga ba yung P of E? At ano nga ba yung N of S? So, ang E, the capital letter E, represented the event or the condition. Ang N of E natin is the total number of favorable outcomes to E. And ang N of S natin is the total number of possible outcomes. So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng E, ang N of E, at ang N of S. So, napaka-importanting malaman natin ang formula so that we will know on how to find the probability of an event. Take a look with our example number 1. Given that two six-sided dice are rolled, find the probability that the sum of the number is 5. Always remember, kung iintindihin muna natin yung problem natin, at kung iintindihin natin yung ating problem, hanapin daw natin yung probability ng two six-sided dice when rolled, at ang condition ay the sum of the possible outcome is 5. Okay? Since there are two six-sided dice, the total number of possible outcomes is 36. So, paano ko nalaman ang 36? So, illustrate natin ang lahat ng possible outcomes ng ating experiment. So, after illustrating the total number of possible outcomes, makikita natin ang mga sumusunod na result or the possible outcomes when two six-sided dice are rolled. Okay, so we have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, until 6,6. Kung bibilangin natin lahat itong possible outcomes na ito, ang total nito ay 36. Kaya ang total number of possible outcomes when the two six-sided dice are rolled ay 36. Now, let us apply the formula in finding the probability of an event, wherein the probability of an event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes. So remember, ang hinahanap natin ay the sum of the number is 5. So yung hinahanap nating probability. So let us substitute the formula or the value to our formula. So ang N of E natin or the number of favorable outcomes ay 4 at ang ating total number of possible outcome ay 36. So paano ko nakuha yung 4? Okay, i-illustrate natin lahat. Remember, ang hinahanap natin ay the sum of the number is 5. So sa ating illustration na possible outcome sa 36, hanapin natin dyan ang magka-partner na kung saan kapag in-add natin, ang kanyang sum ay 5. So, ano-ano yung mga yon? So, we have 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 3, 2. Kasi kapag in-add natin yung mag-partner na yan, ang lahat ng sagot nila ay 5. So, 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 3 plus 2 is 5. At iyan yung tinutukoy nating favorable outcomes. At ano naman ang N of S natin or the total number of possible outcome? Yan yung kabuuan which is 36. So kung titingnan natin ang 4 and 36, meron silang common factor. At ang common factor nila ay 4. Therefore, we have to divide the numerator and denominator by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1 and 36 divided by 4 is 9. Therefore, the probability that the sum of the number is 5 is equal to 1 over 9. Moving on to our example number 2. Given that two 6-sided dice are rolled, find the probability that the sum of the number is 8. So this time naman, ang ating hinahanap naman ay yung probability ng sum of the two 6-sided dice when rolled is 8. So let us have our solution. So always remember, since there are two 6-sided dice, the total number of possible outcomes is 36. So again, paano ko nakuha yung 36? So if we are going to illustrate all the possible outcome of an experiment when the two 6-sided dice are rolled, ito yung kakalabasan niya. We have from 1, 1 until 6, 6. At kung bibilangin natin lahat yan, ang total number of possible outcomes is 36. Using the formula of the probability of an event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes, we have the value of the number of favorable outcomes is 5 all over the total number of possible outcomes is 36. So, paano ko nakuha yung 5? So, let us illustrate yung mga number of favorable outcomes na kung saan ang sum daw is 8. So kung hahanapin natin dyan sa ating mga listahan ng total number of possible outcomes, ang ito ay 2, 6. Bakit kabilang si 2, 6? Kasi 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. 3 and 5 because 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. 4, 4, the 6, 2, and the 5, 3. So lahat ng ito, ang sum nila individually ay 8 kapag kinuha mo yung kanilang sum. Kaya, ang total ng number of favorable outcomes ay 5. Then, 36 is the total number of possible outcomes sa ating experiment. So, kung titignan natin, ang ating N of S is equal to 36 at kung titignan natin ang ating given after ma-substitute yung value ng number of favorable outcomes in the total number of possible outcomes, ay wala tayong nakikitang common factor ng dalawa, 5 and 36. Therefore, the probability that the sum of the number is 8 is equal to 5 all over 36. Now, subukan natin kung naintindihan nyo ang ating explanation. So, given that two six-sided dice are rolled, find the probability that the sum of the number is an odd. Don't forget to show your solution. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell.